This LDL cholesterol doesn't cause a heart attack. This one does. This one is increased by eating saturated fats. This one is increased by processed carbs. This one is lowered by a statin. This one isn't. When you take a statin, you lower the LDL here in your blood. Let's worry about this junk here. This isn't lowered by a statin. It's not easy to reverse this, but lowering your inflammation is key. Lower your insulin and lower your inflammation. Doctors hand out statins like candy to anyone with risk factors for heart disease. I don't prescribe statins as the first-line treatment for heart attacks because the science simply isn't there.
So, successfully lowered your cholesterol? Great. But you also raise your risk without even knowing it. If you're taking statins, eating the wrong foods could be sabotaging your health. From severe side effects to dangerous drug interactions, some everyday ingredients could be undoing everything your medication is meant to fix. Before your next meal, watch this, because the cost of not knowing could be way more than high cholesterol. Number 1. Grapefruit and grapefruit juice. Anyone could land in the hospital just because they drank a glass of juice with their cholesterol medicine. And it was grapefruit juice. Now, if you were taking a statin, the kind millions take every day to keep their cholesterol in check, everything seemed normal until your muscles started aching so badly you could barely move. The pain spreads fast, your urine turns dark, and your kidneys begin failing. All because of just one fruit. So what's the deal? Why would a harmless juice mess someone up that badly?
If you're taking statins to help reduce your cholesterol, your doctor may have advised you to avoid grapefruit or its juice. Why is that? Statins are one of the most commonly prescribed medications. They help regulate cholesterol levels in patients post-stroke, heart attacks, and those with high cholesterol where diet and lifestyle changes aren't enough. When we take statins, some of the medication is broken down within our intestines by an enzyme called CYP3A. This enzyme therefore naturally reduces the amount of statin medication absorbed into your bloodstream. Grapefruit and its juice products contain a chemical called furocoumarins. This chemical acts on the enzyme CYP3A in our intestine and prevents it from working as effectively. As a result, more of your statin medication is absorbed into the bloodstream, making your pills far more potent.
Grapefruit has something in it that blocks a liver enzyme. It's called CYP3A4, but you don't need to remember the name. What matters is this: your liver uses it to break down many statins. But when grapefruit blocks it, the statin can't get processed. It just piles up in your blood like a traffic jam of medicine. And when that happens, the side effects hit like a truck. And it's not rare. If you're on simvastatin, atorvastatin, or lovastatin, which are pretty common, this could be happening right now without you realizing. That one morning glass of grapefruit juice could silently turn your safe dose into a toxic one. Now you might have heard about grapefruit, but this next one is something you probably eat with your statin, and it could be weakening the effects without you even realizing. So what is it? I'll reveal it soon, but first, tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. I love seeing where our global health family is tuning in from. Number 2, high fiber foods like oat bran or psyllium, if taken too close to statins. Suppose you're doing everything right, eating healthy, taking your meds on time, and yet your cholesterol isn't budging. Ever wonder why? Every morning, someone wakes up, pours a bowl of oatmeal, maybe stirs in some psyllium husk for that extra fiber boost, and then pops their statin pill with the same spoon they're using to eat. So, apparently, it feels like a smart routine, but that innocent breakfast might be the reason their statin is barely working. Not because the statins are weak, but because something in that healthy meal is getting in its way. So what's happening here? Soluble fiber, the type found in oat bran, oatmeal, and psyllium, is like a sponge. It doesn't just soak up cholesterol, it grabs anything it can latch onto in your gut, including your medication. This means when you take your statin alongside that fiber-rich breakfast, there's a good chance the fiber binds to the pill and ushers it right out of your body before it even gets a chance to do its job. Now, most people don't find this out until months later, when their blood test shows no improvement and they have no clue why. Now, the fix is simple. Just space your statin and your fiber-rich food or supplements by 2 to 4 hours. But here's the bigger question. What if it's not just fiber that messes with your statin? What if there's something else in your diet, something you always thought was healthy, that amplifies the statin instead of weakening it, and not in a good way? Number 3, pomegranate and pomegranate juice. Pomegranate can mess up your medicine, not kidding. That juicy, innocent-looking fruit sitting on your kitchen counter might be quietly pushing your statin levels through the roof. You might be drinking antioxidant-rich juice, maybe even swapping out soda for something healthier. But if you're on statins, especially simvastatin or atorvastatin, that one decision might be working against you.
What do those statin drugs do? Or Crestor, Lipitor, they're probably two of the most popular. What do? They block the pathway in the liver that the liver uses to make cholesterol, so it stops making so much cholesterol. But that same pathway that the liver uses to make cholesterol, it uses to make coenzyme Q10. What's coenzyme Q10? It's your heart protective enzyme. So a person can go on these medications in the hope that they're going to reduce their risk of heart disease. They can actually increase it. And what are the side effects of cholesterol-lowering medication? Memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's, muscle wasting. You want to build those muscles, not waste them.
So here's how it starts. Your liver has this enzyme, CYP3A4. Think of it like the body's cleanup crew, breaking down medications so they don't pile up where they shouldn't. Now, pomegranate, just like grapefruit, may, under certain conditions, significantly inhibit that enzyme. Your statin stays in your system longer than it's supposed to. It builds up slowly, silently. One day, you're fine. The next, you're wiped out. Muscles start aching. You feel weirdly tired all the time. And your liver, it's sending distress signals in the form of elevated enzymes. But most people never connect the dots. They think the statin itself is the problem, not the healthy things they're eating alongside it. They cut back on the dose, or worse, stop taking it. And just like that, their cholesterol starts creeping up again. The risk of a heart attack inches closer, all because of one harmless fruit. So what's the fix? Simple. Skip the pomegranate. But that leaves you hanging, doesn't it? What do you eat instead? Something that actually helps your statin work better. Well, here's where it gets interesting. There are 4 common foods that don't just play nice with statins. They may actually boost their benefits. They're probably already in your kitchen. But one of them, believe it or not, used to be considered bad for the heart. Want to know what it is? Let's just say the truth about this one food might flip everything you thought you knew about cholesterol. What to eat instead. 4 foods that support statins safely. Number 1, berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Your cholesterol medicine is working, but your arteries might still be under attack, and you won't even feel it happening. The real danger isn't just high cholesterol, it's the silent inflammation building inside your body every single day. Think of it as tiny fires burning in your blood vessels, making them stiff, narrow, and weak over time. Now, statins are great at lowering cholesterol, sure, but they don't always put out these hidden fires completely. So what do? You're already taking your meds. What else could possibly help without causing new problems? Most people don't realize that something as simple as a fruit can help fight this battle. These fruits are loaded with tiny warriors that travel through your bloodstream, finding the inflamed spots and cooling them down. They reshape the bad cholesterol, making it less dangerous. They keep the inner lining of your arteries smooth and calm, and they don't mess with your statin, unlike grapefruit, which can dangerously spike your medication levels. So what are they? Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. These aren't just sweet toppings, they're secret reinforcements for your heart.
I want you to know that frozen berries contain the same nutritional elements as fresh berries that has just been harvested. However, this does not mean that fresh berries found in the produce section of the grocery store are a better choice than frozen berries. So don't be deceived when something is not frozen because you don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelves.
Add them to breakfast, toss them into yogurt. Just don't mix them with too much fiber at the exact moment you take your statin. Space it out a bit. That's all it takes. It's one simple move to double down on your protection. But here's the next question. If berries help your heart without interfering with your medicine, what about fats? You've heard some are good and some are bad. But can any fat actually protect your brain and your heart without causing a spike in statin levels? That answer is even more surprising. Number 2, olive oil and avocados. Your statins might be saving your life. That's why most people think popping that statin pill is enough. They follow the doctor's orders, keep an eye on cholesterol numbers, and feel safe. But behind the scenes, something as innocent as a glass of juice or a healthy snack could be interfering with how statins work in your liver. Instead of helping your body, the statin starts building up, unnoticed, until one day, your muscles ache, your energy crashes, and your liver starts waving red flags. So what can you eat that actually helps statins do their job and doesn't sabotage you silently? The answer is not a medicine or a fancy supplement. It's olive oil and avocados, something already sitting in most kitchens, often overlooked.
Avocado can keep you healthy in many ways. If you're overweight, overfat, having visceral fat around the organs, having high blood pressure, diabetes, insulin resistance, avocados will do wonders for you. It will lower your bad cholesterol, your low-density lipoproteins, even potentially your triglycerides, along with a healthy diet and exercise. And the monounsaturated fatty acids in avocados, along with all that fiber, will slow absorption of sugars into the cells, slowing digestion down from the stomach into the small intestine. You're not going to get that surge or that fall. You're going to take stress off the pancreas. You're going to help reverse insulin resistance and make you more insulin sensitive. And if you're trying to lose weight, don't resist staying away from fats. That's the wrong thing to do. You want to eat the fats because the fats will help you burn fat. So eat your avocados. Your body will love you.
They're not just safe, they're supportive. They don't touch the liver enzyme that statins rely on, which means they never mess with the medication. Instead, they quietly go to work lowering the bad cholesterol, LDL, boosting the good one, HDL, and loading your system with vitamin E and plant sterols that your heart absolutely loves. Even better, they do all this while keeping your body out of that danger zone of drug buildup. So, what's the best way to eat them? It's not about drowning your food in oil or turning every meal into guacamole hour. Just a drizzle of olive oil on salad, a spoon on sautéed veggies, or a few slices of avocado on toast can keep your body moving in the right direction. But here's the catch. While olive oil and avocado play nice with statins, not everything does. There's a certain high-fiber group of foods that can cause trouble, but only if you eat them at the wrong time. So what are they? And when is the right time? Number 3, leafy greens, spinach, kale, Swiss chard. We know a patient whose arteries were clogged up like an old city drain. Blood barely flowing, cholesterol shooting through the roof. Doctors handed him a prescription and said, "Take this statin every day. It'll save your life." He did. But weeks later, he started feeling stiff, sluggish, and strangely foggy. And he is not alone. Plenty of others have the same symptoms. So, what went wrong? Turns out the statin wasn't enough. His body was screaming for backup, and the answer wasn't in another pill. It was in his kitchen. Hidden in the crisper drawer, actually. Leafy greens, the kind most people shove aside or toss out. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard. Nothing fancy,
Spinach is a superfood. Several people are eating spinach because it has so much nutritious value. It is high in iron, it is high in antioxidants, it is high in lutein, which is a powerful antioxidant, as well as lot of B vitamins. Most people have this question: what is the best way to consume spinach? Whether to eat it raw, whether to eat it in your smoothies, whether to eat it cooked, like boiling it, or frying spinach. What is the best way? So the research study gave us an answer. They compared all of these different methods of consuming spinach, and they measured the antioxidant content of lutein in these spinach. And the research results will shock you. What it showed was that eating spinach in your smoothies was the best way of using it because it has the highest amount of lutein in it. Because as soon as you start chopping spinach into very small pieces, that's the time it releases a lot of lutein content, and this lutein is very powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory compound.
So these humble leaves were quietly loaded with fiber, magnesium, and potassium. The dream team for heart health. Fiber latches onto bad cholesterol and helps flush it out. Magnesium and potassium keep the blood pressure down by calming the blood vessels. But there's more. These greens also hold a nutrient many overlook, vitamin K1. Think of it like internal scaffolding for your arteries. It keeps calcium from building up in the wrong spots. Something statins don't directly tackle. But if you eat these greens right next to your statin dose, their fiber might block how well the pill works. So he spaced them out. Greens with lunch, statin with dinner. Slowly, things changed. Energy came back. The numbers started improving. And he didn't even have to chew on raw kale all day. Steaming them made them softer, easier to digest, and still just as powerful. But just when it looked like he had cracked the code, another problem cropped up: his joints. They ached in the mornings, stiff in the evenings. He thought it was just age, but deep down, he wondered, was something missing? Something to support his cholesterol and his aching joints at the same time? The answer wasn't a supplement. It was food again, clean, simple, overlooked. And this time, it was protein. But not meat, not beans, not even eggs. It was something ancient, trusted, and surprisingly effective. But before we get there, you have to understand why this protein helps not just your heart, but your bones, your brain, and even your skin. Number 4, fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel. There was another patient whose muscles started hurting so much that he thought he was falling apart. No injury, no workout, just this deep, dragging ache that wouldn't let go. He was on statins for his cholesterol, and they were doing their job. Numbers were better. But something else was breaking down. What was happening inside his body? The doctors told him the statins were fine, normal even. But he couldn't ignore the soreness, the stiffness in his legs every morning like he'd run a marathon in his sleep. He started wondering, was this the cost of keeping his heart safe? Was it a trade? Protect your heart, but sacrifice your muscles? And then someone asked him one odd question. Do you eat fish? He didn't see the connection. What does fish have to do with aching muscles and cholesterol pills? Turns out quite a lot. Fatty fish, like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, aren't just good for you in the usual vague way people say. These fish are loaded with omega-3s, special fats that actually calm the storm inside your body.
If you want to gain muscle and you want to live a healthy lifestyle, salmon is something that you should definitely add to your diet at least twice a week. It's high in protein, high in omega-3s, and it's actually quite easy to make. Just 15 minutes in the oven and you're done. Add some garlic, add some lemon, and you've got the perfect meal.
They reduce inflammation, cool down overworked cells, and help ease the pain statins sometimes leave behind. Just 2 or 3 servings a week can support your meds while quietly soothing your muscles. But that leads to another twist. Why are these fish even helping with cholesterol in the first place? If statins are lowering cholesterol, what's left for fish to do? Well, statins mostly work on one thing, LDL, the bad cholesterol. But there's another troublemaker in your blood, triglycerides. High triglycerides are dangerous too, and guess what brings them down? Yup, those same omega-3s. So while the statins do their part, the fish come in like a backup crew, tackling what the pills miss. Still, there's one more piece. What if you hate fish, or can't eat it often? Is there a way to still get the benefits without a single bite? There is. Omega-3 supplements, especially the purified kind, give you the same effect. No fishy meals, no cooking, just a small daily addition. So now the real question is, if something this simple can reduce pain, lower triglycerides, and strengthen your heart alongside your meds, why would anyone not try it? So, no denying that statins can save lives, but the wrong foods might quietly sabotage their effect. Which one shocked you most? Grapefruit, pomegranate, or fiber timing? Were you ever warned about this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this helped, hit like, subscribe for more science-backed health tips, and share with someone on statins. And stay tuned. Next up, 3 supplements people over 50 should never take with statins. Number 2 is a liver wrecker.